Calvin is a 19-year-old hypochondriac. An introvert always in his own space. He thinks he has cancer. He has been out of college for a while, took on an airport job alongside his father and brother, and works on wood in his quiet time. He has conducted lots of medical tests, and even keeps a symptom journal, where he writes down his symptoms. He has already gone through a lot of medical checks, and the doctor has confirmed there's nothing wrong with him, but still he believes his symptoms are real, and denies he's an hypochondriac. But when he requested for more tests to be carried out, the doctor admitted, there's no more tests to be done. But in all of this, he admires a flight attendant, named Izzy. She works at the same airport with him, but he has never been able to approach, or speak to her. On the other hand, there's Sky, a cheerful and carefree teenager. Sky has been diagnosed with cancer and has been told it's at the critical and final stage. But she doesn't let it get to her and wishes to enjoy the final stage of her life. In fact, the only statement she made, after hearing this awfully sad news from the doctor was, "You lose some, you win some." Now Calvin's life is about to take a new turn, when he meets Sky at a support group, created for persons living with cancer. He finds her very disturbing and intruding, as he was asked to write a bucket list, and she starts to bug him on what to write. Although finally she came up with something, wrote it down and asks him to start from there. The next day, Calvin was very surprised to see Sky at the airport where he works. She came looking for him as she claims it was to return his ID card he had misplaced. She also had a request for him. She asks him to join her in doing all the activities in her to-do list. But he doesn't seem interested. In the next scene, Calvin is having dinner with his family. His mother is sick and not in her right frame of mind. His elder brother on the other hand wants him to go back to college, since the doctor has concluded he's healthy. The next day, Sky is happy to have accidentally met her friends from school, but they seem to be avoiding her, and have grown apart from her. She felt sad, but just then Calvin walks behind her. He's willing to try out her to-do list. He also wanted to tell her he doesn't have cancer, but she didn't let him speak. What Calvin didn't know was the first thing on Sky's list was shoplifting. He had thought it was shopping. Before he could escape with her, he got tasered. Luckily for him, the police officer that was called on him, had seen him at the cancer support group which his father attended, and took pity on him, thinking he has cancer. He went to Sky to ask why she did something that dangerous. But she told him to admit it actually felt good, doing something he had never done before. The rush of excitement. When she felt she had convinced him enough, she turned around to leave. But like she wished, he stopped her and asked what else is in her list. In this next scene, Sky had asked Calvin about Izzy, and why he had never made his move on her. She decided she would get her contact for him herself. At this point, Calvin felt both nervous and shy at the same time. Later that day he practiced hard on what he was going to say, but found out Sky had given him a wrong number. The number she actually got from Izzy was to get information about becoming an air attendant. In this next scene, Calvin was supposed to take Sky to a costume party. This was the first time her parents had met him. They didn't know she had made a new friend, and if they should be excited about it. Some interesting things happened at this party. If you watch till this part of this video, I recommend the full movie if you wish to find out. Now Sky has decided to set up a date between Izzy and Calvin, which she made Izzy agree to, by telling her she has cancer. Calvin mentioned he met Sky at a support group during the date with Izzy, which made her think he has cancer as well, but he was not able to clear things with her before Sky interrupted. After the date, he got a little mad, and told Sky he doesn't have cancer, and he thinks this has ruined his chances with Izzy. Although Sky admitted she knew this already. So he asked her, why she picked him to do her list with her, even when she knows the truth. That was when he found her he was also on her list. She had included, to help a sad case, which he was. But she also admitted, she had liked him as her friend, and she actually thought he liked her too.
Sky, I do. I want to be your friend.
Why?
Because you terrify me, and you excite me, and when you're not around, I miss you.
You really miss me?
Yes, I do.
Calvin had also found out, Sky's a really good swimmer. She had also represented her school in competitions, but it's a pity she's unable to do it anymore because of her illness. For the first time he watches her swim. He sees a different Sky, doing what she really loves. Just then he is beginning to get more glimpse of how amazing she truly is. The scene ends with both of them getting into the water, and having another cheerful moment. And now we can see a different Calvin. He looks happier and more lively. He no longer makes use of his symptoms journal as well. Even at work he's having a good time. He is boldly now able to talk to Izzy, and hold a good conversation with her. He was also able to ask her to hang out with him sometime. And she agreed. It is yet another one of Sky to die list activity, to beat a lie detector, but she asked Calvin a daring question.
Calvin Lewis, would you switch places with me if you could?
Yes?
In this scene, Sky's mom is beginning to come closer to the reality her daughter would be leaving soon, and she breaks down. Her parents, although grateful, she has a friend like Calvin that sticks around, and helps her situation. With the help of their police friends, Sky was able to complete another activity on her list. Calvin, on the other hand, went on that date with Izzy. Sky in this scene is having a sleepover at Calvin's. For the first time he sees how badly the cancer is eating her up. He finds his friend very vulnerable and comforts her. Izzy decided to simulate an airplane experience for Calvin, since he has never flown, and he's also afraid to fly in one. But then she felt deceived and becomes hurt when he told her he doesn't really have cancer as she thought. In this scene, Calvin finally reveals to Sky he has a twin sister who died in a car accident when they were 8. Their mom was driving the car that day, and this was the reason she's sick, and have not been in her right frame of mind. He also says it would have been better if he had died with her, as he seems to be a constant reminder of the incident to his mom. For this reason, he had stopped celebrating his birthday since he was 8.
Why?
Just close them. Okay, now open them. Happy birthday, Calvin.
Something unexpected happened later that day. Sky collapses while they were at a restaurant together. At the hospital, Calvin could not accept the reality. Skye's cancer is slowly taking her life. He breaks down. Although Skye is allowed out of hospital, but she's now too weak to continue her death list, and Calvin has to take on this responsibility, to complete it for her. Calvin finds any way possible to make sure he completed the activities Skye had on her list.
Excellently observed.
It was now time to reveal her casket. He had made one for her himself. Skye says the casket is perfect for her. But just then, she realizes how sad it truly is, leaving those she loves behind, including her best friend Calvin.
Once I put in a good word for Calvin with Izzy. Once I told you guys how much I love you. Really thought they'd come for me.
Well, maybe that's the one.
Yeah.
Maybe they're having second thoughts.
What do you think, Calvin? Think they're having second thoughts?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
The cancer eventually took Skye's life, but she indeed made a big impact in the lives of those she loved. She had taught them to always face their problems head-on with a big smile. With great courage she could spread love in her weakness. And as for Calvin, he definitely sees the world in a new light. Skye had brought joy to him when he least expected. He definitely won't be forgetting her. Skye has also left him one last gift. Birthday cards from his 9th birthday he never celebrated, to his present. At the end of this movie, Calvin is about to take his first flight, and has decided to go back to college. Izzy is also one of the flight attendant on board. We don't know if they got back together, but the smile they both gave at the end gives us a hint they would.